Oh my goodness. I think we're on. I think this thing is on. I am James Lott Jr. This is What's Up, Flobo, number 210. 10. I love to come here on even numbers and milestones. So 210 is a great number to come in on. And I'm going to guide you through What's Up, Flobo. Today, a special edition. I have a What's Up wheel. I'm going to ask him all kinds of questions the way he loves when I do this. Let's bring on the man of the honor, man of dishonor, man of infamy, whatever. Let's bring on Flobo Boys.
What man of infamy? That's pretty sad.
And buy his books.
Where's my books?
Buy them.
Available on Amazon.
That's right. I also promote you while you're on here. Good morning, Flobito.
Good morning. It's still nighttime for me. I rolled out of bed, crusted my eyes. I missed my alarm, and I got up at a very, very late 7:30. I didn't know what to do with myself.
You don't understand. He and I are early risers usually, so that's the kind of thing. I know. Do you have cups too, right? You have mugs under Flobo.
They're more like dream mugs. I have Flopito Tonight mugs, but I keep them on my bookshelf as like.
I need a mug so when I come on your shows, I can drink out of it.
I just said I have my dreams. No, give it to me. Okay, fine. All right. I'm just trying to give you a whole backstory. Oh, fine.
You know, I'm just demanding. So
give me what I want.
Give me what you want. Yes, give me what I want. So good morning, everybody. A special good morning to Stephanie Boyce, who I love you too, and I hope that you're enjoying whatever you're doing. You actually do more for your son than my mother does for me. Just watch it. So at least you watch his programs. But I know I'm your favorite. I know. So it's okay.
I host dozens of shows a week. My mom was always like, "So when you and James going to talk again?" It's like,
And Mom, this week he's on JLJ Media. It's a Flobo James extravaganza. He was on Coffee Conversation with me and Melissa. Melissa loves Flobo. And then Friday he will be on Race. It's Race Talk, but it's Black Talk. Him and Adam Woods about race and wrestling. That's Friday night. And then on Saturday, he co-stars with me in The Story of Red, our audio drama on the Really Short Story podcast. So it's Flobo week at JLJ Media.
You got to do that remix, man. That beat is hard. Theme song.
I know theme song. The theme song will be out that day too. It's like I love it. I've been holding on to that beat for a while, just waiting for the right moment. And it fit the mood. So
yeah,
I did. Okay, so we're gonna do a wheel. So the show might be a little longer than normal. Normally it's like 9-10 minutes. It won't be 3 hours like other shows, but it's gonna be somewhere in between. But we're gonna spin a wheel. So I did add a thing to the wheel, Flobo. I forgot one thing I added to it. So I'm gonna read what I sent a picture of the wheel and we'll post it online so you'll see it.
Yeah.
So after you watch this, then go online and see the wheel. Okay. So the categories are Brooklyn.
It's an actual wheel though. It's an actual wheel you can like spin.
So folks, can you hear this?
It's like Plinko.
Yes. And so that's actual wheel. That is an actual wheel flow. I've upgraded since you see me last. I've upgraded.
It's the ta-da that takes me out. The ta-da!
Totally. It's like a new wheel. I went to a new wheel.
Okay.
I do want to have one in house one day. They're expensive. I'm looking at them.
Yeah, I bet.
So here are the categories: hosting, esports, wrestling, James Lott Jr., Rohan, Dad, Mama, the car, Black, Los Angeles, Brooklyn, the apartment, and What's Up, Flobo. Those are the categories. So the deal will be, it'll land on one of those things, and I'll ask a question related to that particular piece of the pie. All right?
Okay, man.
Ready?
I've learned not to ask any more questions.
Yeah, you're learning. God, finally. If all men would do this for me, I'd be happier.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Oh. How ironical. Wrestling.
Yeah, I can talk about that all day.
Yeah, I need to do it all day. But I'm going to ask you a question. It's related. Actually, this came up to me. It's related to what I sent you earlier in a video earlier.
Okay. Before I do that, though, I would say, what's up, Kirsten? Thanks so much for rolling through. Hey.
Then, oh, hi. Good morning, girl. Okay. So, what do you say to people who think wrestling is just for kids or just for teenagers? It's not, you can't be over 30 and watch wrestling. What do you actually say to that?
Oh, I say that if you truly believe in the arts and sciences, that this is the modern interpretation, the modern descendant of Shakespeare's theory of the round. Not to say that wrestling is the same thing as Shakespeare, but it's mass entertainment that you could take many levels from. You could watch the costumes and be like, oh, that's great, or the loud music and say that's great. But from a production standpoint, from a character standpoint, you can't get any better. If you have the space in your life for shows like Grey's Anatomy, Days of Our Lives, Law and Order, CSI, that these franchises that ran 20 years, you should have at least a little bit of understanding for professional wrestling. And then you should say, you bitch ass. No,
Yeah, I know. I think it's so funny. Like they said, like most comics are bought by adults at this point. I mean, it's not even bought by a kid. Mostly adults are buying the comic book.
Kids can't afford it.
Yeah,
a single Marvel issue is $4.99 for 20 pages. Get out of here.
That's great. I like that. Okay, here we go. That's a big wheel.
The sands of time. These are days of our lives.
Yeah. Oh, this thing is rigged. Okay. Esports.
Yeah. No one knows what that is.
So finally got me to understand what it is. Finally. Yeah. I finally understand what it is. I just really didn't know. You just recently were telling me off camera how you actually are kind of becoming part of something of a movement of Black folk in the esports commentary world. So how's that feel?
I didn't realize it was a thing until it was a thing. If that makes sense, like because video games for me were so solitary. Like my brother was older than me by a large margin when I was a kid, so there's not really games we played together consistently. Or when he got to be good at games, I was the annoying brother, right? I usually played solitary, so any kind of community at first was interesting. It's like, oh, you play this game I play, you know what that is. And so I got to see so many different cross sections versus older players versus like players from New York. And then when I did a Black History Month event for the game of Rocket League, which is the game I play and I commentate for, I got like messages of like just thanks and inspiration, and people were like, oh my gosh, I didn't know people like you existed. And I come with a broadcast background because my first degree is in communications and broadcasting, and so I bring like that real sports flair to esports. So it's really cool. I feel like I'm still a nobody because a lot of this work happens in your bedroom, and it's hard to feel like you're inspiring from your bedroom. But when you actually hear people come to you, you're like, I guess I am doing stuff with merit. I'm doing stuff that's nice. And this is why, even though the pandemic is over, I'm like, man, the room game was so tight. Like I was doing a lot more good here. What the hell?
He's got his first degree. Okay.
Oh, yeah. My 2.5 degrees.
And I love it. Love a smart man. So it's funny because you mentioned some just now. You said something that's actually kind of very important. I mean, it's been for me since tomorrow. It's been 2 years in my bedroom, doing all this stuff, and a lot of people. I know that sounds so dirty. There's nothing far from it. Trust me, folks. But we're all broadcasting, whether it's our bedrooms, our I almost said dungeons, something different, warehouse, basements. Family rooms, dens, kitchens. Everybody's kind of finding their spots in their house to do this over the last 2 years. But what we're finding is we're still doing work.
Yeah,
you're still doing content. You're still casting. You're still doing things that there's just a different background, like literally different background. But yeah, I guess it still makes a difference. I think
it's just so ironic that it took the whole world to stop for me to feel fulfilled. And granted, there's months where I'm sitting there going like, I should be out there making money. But when money comes in doing this, not saying I look for the cash, but when it comes in, it's like this maybe might be the path. Maybe it's small this month or small this year. But if I'm happy and I'm doing it, I'm going to bed the happy tired, and there are people asking for your time, then maybe this might be the path altogether, which is the whole point of the book, but the last book. But I'm sure we talk about it at some point.
Oh, I like that. So I'll leave it alone there. I won't even go. I won't even add on. It's a big wheel.
I need the music. Hold up, we them boys.
Esports again.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is one thing in esports that you actually like the most about it?
There is personalities behind the players, but it really comes down to what you contribute on the field or the pitch or whatever. When we see real sports and we buy a real ticket, when someone comes out, you're like, oh, he's new, I don't really know him, or he looked a certain way, or he had this tattoo, I don't really know. When you're watching esports, you get to put that aside, see the gameplay, see the style, and go, who is that? So it's kind of like an inversion of what actually happens, which is kind of cool to discover things you like about it. And a lot of times too, if you find someone who also in the esport you're into, it's like another language, a whole other code. And someone as old, even though I'm not that old in gaming, I'm like ancient, right? Because I'm in my mid 30s. To find someone who's half your age but still have that like code, or someone in their 20s and have that code, and like, hey, you see that musty flick double reset? It was great. Oh yeah, it was great. Like it was kind of cool. It's like I feel young in that way.
Trust me, I know how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
That's my life every day in this business.
Yeah, man. Stay connected.
My favorite player is Novanta Reyes. He's hot.
Oh, that's me, by the way, if everyone knows who that is.
Yeah. Brooklyn,
hometown.
The last time you were there, what is one thing you missed from your childhood that's not there anymore?
Oh, wow. It's funny because the last time I went was in December 2021, yep. And I got most of that out of my system. Like I'm at the age now, or I'm at the time now, I go, you know what? The Brooklyn I grew up in does not exist anymore, which is kind of tragic, but it is kind of thing. But I would say my basement. So I don't know if any of my mom even knows this, but I'm like deathly afraid of my basement in the house. And yeah, because you know what it was? Well, one, it's dark and it smelled like basement, right? But when I was a kid in third grade, we had a teacher named Miss Smith, who was actually my brother's teacher growing up. She read us the story of the Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman. And for some reason, I thought the Headless Horseman lived in my basement. And I never went inside. I know I tried to, lights would be on during the daytime, but as soon as the nighttime hits, I would hit the lights and run upstairs and whatever. But coming home, because I'm I guess a bigger man and the house seems smaller. Like I was in my basement chilling. I'm taking naps in there. I kind of missed the mystique of having this uncharted territory. I was like flirting with danger by being in. It was kind of like, I'm going to basement, whatever. And I guess I kind of miss that.
I like that. Yes, you are bigger now. You're a big boy now.
Yes, I am. Still growing.
Oh my God, I love it. It's funny.
Ta-da!
I can't even plan these better myself. Los Angeles.
Oh man, the city of angels. I don't want to call it my hometown. Not really an Angelino, but
that's my question. So you've been here how long?
This August will be 15 years.
So almost, not quite because you're lower than that. Almost half your life you've been here.
My entire adult life, yes.
So life.
Yeah. Oh.
At some point, it's going to match up where it's going to be like you lived here the same time period.
Whatever. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Why do you have an aversion to saying it's like it's your home?
I don't think it's a verb. It kind of is. I think it comes down to why I left. Just to compare, some of my friends who came out here were like, "Man, I'm just tired of New York. I need to find a new place and change. My new home is here now." When I left home the second time, because I went to Florida first, when I left home the second time, it was a big deal. It was, what are you doing going across the country? My dad, who was like a staunch conservative, was like, hey man, these liberals are going to change you, corrupt you out there. Mom was like, I don't know what you want to do exactly, but I guess I kind of support you. You know what I mean? Because the jobs I want to do didn't exist when my parents were kids. So I don't knock them for that. So to me, I always felt like I was going into town, like to the old steel mill. And because I struggle with rent every month, and because some jobs are here and there, I do feel like I'm the prodigal son sometimes. I don't really feel that I'm here at home. I'm here to like build an empire, right? You're right. It gets to be a time where it's like ridiculously time, but it's not like I'm walking on the street like, oh, palm trees, but it just feels like I'm never secure here. And I just want, that's like the main goal. Yeah, me, Flobo tonight's the goal. Being Novanta is the goal. But to call my parents up and have them still be alive and be like, don't worry about me anymore. Like that to me would be like a goal I wanted to hit. And it's been a long time. It's been 15 years and I'm still not quite there yet. So I never think I'm home. I think I'm in Los Angeles. That's why if you notice, I'll say Los Angeles and not LA because I'm not I'm not familiar with it.
You do. I'm not. That's admirable. That's admirable. I'll give that. That's fine. We love
How cute, he says. That's
how cute. Bless your heart. Yeah.
a blessed heart.
Okay. Oh. Wrestling again.
Yes.
This thing is not, it's whatever.
I have the category back. I can swear to you.
It's all his magnetism to wrestling. All right, so you like D'Lo Brown, right?
My favorite of all time. Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna get it. I love it. He's gonna get it. Okay. This is recording.
This right here is my D'Lo Brown action figure I got for Christmas one year. This is the greatest European champion of all time, D'Lo Brown.
That's so funny. So you got to talk to him, right?
Yeah, man. It was great.
So was it everything you hoped it would be?
It wasn't, and it wasn't his fault. So D'Lo Brown changed the game for me because he was brown. Two, he came out to like the mid 90s interpretation of what hip hop was, had a dope track, moved his head, all confident. So I had a chance to interview him with that hashtag show. But the problem was, or the issue was, his handler at the time wanted to just talk about the wrestling event he was working on now. So even though I tried to slip in like things I wanted to ask him, it definitely was like, hey, you're only here to talk, because he was in WWF for a long time, but now he's working with promotion called Impact. Impact didn't want to cross the trademarks. So they're like, no, talk about Impact and the show he's doing. So I asked him questions, but I always wanted to get a chance to talk with him again. And on Mac Mania, we had a segment called D'Lo Appreciation with the sole intent of having D'Lo see it and tweet it and be on the show. I won't give up, because D'Lo Brown's up there with Tony Danza as the people I want to have a real in-depth talk with.
And you will. You'll have on both of them. It'll happen. This was a mind of its own. Okay. Hosting.
Ooh, that's new.
Yeah, that's new. Okay, let's go on. Okay. I was telling somebody a story the other day, and I was laughing about how one time I didn't prepare like I should have. Normally I prepare and I'm like just down on, but I was tired. I'll get to it later. Didn't get to it. Had to go to AfterBuzz to interview somebody. And in the middle of the interview, I went blank.
Oh. Yeah.
We're live. And cameras on me. Marissa's my engineer. And she was like, your face changed at this one point. And I went blank. And suddenly he was to Charlie Brown parents. It was like, wah, wah. I don't know what he was saying. I'm sure he was asking me. But I had no notes. And normally I don't write down credits, I just write down notes to keep guiding me. And this is early in my career. This is before I actually had the practice of, now I write things down sometimes they say something.
Before you had swag.
Yeah. So before I got, the bomb. But I'm sitting there and he's talking, and all of a sudden he finished. And this is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And
yeah.
So for my question for you is, have you ever had a moment while hosting that you think back and go, God bless America?
Oh, yeah. I script all the time. All the time. And it's funny because when that happens, you feel like the heat. You feel the heat. You're just like, there's a lot of times, especially earlier in my career at the AfterBuzz thing, where not to put AfterBuzz under the bus. Well, they had a timer in the studio to show you how much time you had left, but it wasn't like a clock. It was like a countdown app. And sometimes they wouldn't start it, or they'll do it ahead of time. So when you're out of questions and you don't know, like it's different when you're going, it'll go rapid 5, but you don't know if you're in the middle of the show or not. It's definitely scary, man. I just realized when that happens, I just go to small talk, Well,
I can do it now. I can do it now. I can play it off now. But back then, I was just like, so now, I'm a pro now. I can do it now. But I always laugh those times when I'm just like, I didn't I remember this one time I had a guest that just gave me one word answers. I literally ended the show a half hour early.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, was,
Well,
I don't thank you very much for coming in, and we'll see you next. I mean, I just wrapped the show up.
thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. And all right. Hosting's not easy, folks.
It's not easy.
It's
It's not easy. And Mama say, think I'm easy? Whew.
We're back to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Here's a question for you. I know I have friends in Brooklyn also, of course. Why do you think EWE, you think that why Brooklyn is so iconic?
It's a city so big that everyone has an authentic experience for them. Yeah. It's so big. Like Barbra Streisand's Brooklyn is the same as Jay-Z's Brooklyn. It is all valid. But what I like about it, even though it is New York, it has its own history. I bet you their own consolidation things. There really is like a bunch of small neighborhood city states. And that's what makes it cool to me. This is why I always try to say, if I don't know you, I'll say whatever. But if I know you, I'll go, I'm from Brooklyn, not New York. There's a difference. Like that idea of like the city of like concrete towers is like foreign to me as it is to most people, because going to the city was like, for what? What are you going to the city for? You know what I mean? It was a big deal. And you know what different neighborhoods were. Like if I become famous today, for example, let's say I become whatever you think famous is, I become that guy. I'm the biggest on the planet. I like to say that I like to put Flatlands, my neighborhood, on the map, because even though Brooklyn's famous, people know Flatbush, they know Canarsie, they know even Marine Park, but my neighborhood is kind of an unknown spot. Williamsburg, they know Greenpoint, like it's so massive. So yeah, my hometown small farm within this borough, in this massive city, you know, is pretty cool. I like to think that I want to underscore that. So that's why I always say I'm from Brooklyn.
I understand in a sense that when I say Inglewood all the time, it's like I'm this is not LA. It's in Inglewood. It's a separate city, of a separate mayor, everything. It's like people, you know, when the Super Bowl was happening, I heard folks saying, yeah, the LA. I'm like, no, bitches, it is the Inglewood SoFi Stadium. Like it's in Inglewood. Like this not mince words here. And I feel the same about New York. New York is so funny to me because just like my life being a biracial, multiracial person, I went to both sides back when New Yorkers would know this back in the 70s and 80s. You didn't go to Brooklyn if you were in New York, in Manhattan. You didn't go to Manhattan. You just like you said, you just didn't do that. Cabs didn't go. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I came from both sides because my family was half and half. So my life, I always realized my life's always been half and half. That's how my life's always been.
Yeah.
Even in my geography. And New York, and now New York City itself, Manhattan, has a bunch of different places. Queens has a bunch of different places. You know, it's such interesting. Then people say New York City. It's like you understand it's 5 boroughs, but within each of those boroughs. See, my family in Brooklyn come from Prospect Park, Park Slope, Fort Hamilton Parkway.
Okay.
Over there. So it's like that's a whole other part of Brooklyn. Then I had family in Crown Heights. So that was another part of Brooklyn. I had family to Bed-Stuy. That's another part of Brooklyn. Like it's all these. Brooklyn is huge, and I love that you said that Barbra Streisand, which is my favorite, and Jay-Z is my favorites. Both of them, they're Brooklyn. They literally, but they. I feel like when you say you're from Brooklyn, anybody from Brooklyn just accepts you anyway. It's like you're from Brooklyn, yeah. But just a matter of part, you're like we're all from Brooklyn. Like
yeah,
that's one of those things that I like about that you don't get in many other cities. I mean, I know San Francisco and LA have mini cities and stuff too, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, it isn't the same. And I think Queens is a foreign country because the way they name and number the streets. It's like, yo, I'm at 155th Street, 139th Avenue, and 127th Place, same corner. I'm like, what? These are all numbers. That mean nothing to me.
I had to teach people. So in New York City proper, in Manhattan, I had to teach my friends who, I took them there for the first time, and I had to separate. At one point, I go, okay, well, I'm going to go to my grandmother's and do Puerto Rican things. No, I'm not. I'm going to go do some stuff for my family, and I'll see you guys later. They wanted to kind of move around, and I kept saying, okay, the subway. I'm like, it's downtown Brooklyn or uptown the Bronx. And they called me downtown the Bronx, uptown Brooklyn. No, it's not uptown. So I got confused.
Right.
Fifth Avenue and Second. They're like 51st and Third, and I think that's how you tell people where to go. I guess this whole thing that's a very New York speak.
Right.
That they
you want to know a hood fable real quick? Real quick. What's up, Texas? Yes, man. Let's go, Mets. Be back, baby. So I lived in Southeast Brooklyn, so if you know anything about like the land there, it's softer, it's marsh. This is why there's no trains south of Brooklyn College. They didn't want to have elevated tracks because the white majority back then voted against it. So I did mostly buses, is my point. And when I learned subways, I was like, subways. And my mom, and it's funny now because it just seems like it's something out of a movie. She goes, son, if you're ever lost, just go downtown. Any train downtown with your home. I was like, yeah, I love it.
We know this. That's what we know. I guess it's always, that's how I was taught. I mean, I was taught certain markers to look for. Just head that direction. We'll get you somewhere. And I took A train, F train, all out to Brooklyn, different places, and so I love it. I miss Brooklyn a lot, but I love Manhattan also because I spent time in both places. So Jackson Heights, Washington Heights, Gramercy Park, Alphabet City. I love all that. And people go, "What is all that?" They have no idea. It's all New York.
Mm-hmm.
It's all New York. When I said, Park Slope, Prospect Park, he knows where that is. That's all Brooklyn. Like it's just huge.
Yeah.
I love it. But it's very dense. It's big, but it's dense. It's like
it's like because LA is sort of like that, but it isn't like connected in that way. No, it's kind of like, oh yeah, there's Culver City. It was the real city, but like there's like there's Palms and then there's like Studio City, but it does feel like the other side of town.
It does. I'm funny. Okay, let's move on. That's good. I talk New York all day, but I love New York, so I can talk all day.
Mom's like, what are you talking about?
She's like, shut up.
Yeah, it's Kirsten. My dad worked in the subway system.
Black.
Did we win the playoffs?
Black. Okay, we're gonna do some major kind of race talk and wrestling actually this Friday. And you've been on one of my other Black Talks about this stuff. I want to ask you, because we talked a little bit about esports and stuff, in hosting and in the wrestling world kind of too a little bit. Are you feeling that it's getting a little better for us as Black hosts, on-air camera presenters, live events? What are your thoughts on from what you're seeing?
On the top surface, yes. I think there's more opportunities for people of color. And I think now, maybe because there's money in diversity, if I'm being cynical, you're seeing a lot more hosts and stuff. The question I have, the problems I have are a little bit nuanced in that. And I'm not sure how deep you want me to go in there. But I do think there is a need for Black and Asian voices, but it feels like there's a specific Black and Asian voice that gets promoted, and Latino voice as well. And I do feel like we are a kaleidoscope, and it really should be a big deal till it's no longer a big deal to get people from all different walks of life. But I've struggled with being accepted as being Black enough, which is only frustrating for me because that was something I suffered with when I was a kid. When I would go to recess and read Archie comics where everyone wanted to play handball, I mean, it was considered a thing. But now in hosting, when you're trying your hardest and someone sees your skin color and goes, oh, he's a Black host, he's good. But then it's not the same thing as being like, oh, he's not Black. Like I before the shutdown, and I'm not dragging the organization because if they call me today, I'll sell out. I'll be there quick as possible. But I felt like I was the only Black host in LA who never got an invite to Fox Soul, right? For example. Fox Soul had all my friends on it. We look at Fox Soul, there's a very specific kind of Black person on that show. And I go, well, maybe I'm not Black enough for that. But I can't sit there and say there are no opportunities because now with the fracturing of digital media, if you don't see something, you can start something, right?
That's very true. Very true. I know it's weird. Folks, it's weird. It's and you're right. Everything. I always say the color is green. That's the color, more so than anything else. Why did it do that? Did I do something? Did I press the button? Let's go back.
The wheel's broken.
The wheel got bigger. Why did it get bigger?
Oh.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know why. Oh, what happened? No, my wheel did something.
I broke the wheel. I broke the D'Lo Brown. More D'Lo Brown questions.
James Lott Jr.
Oh man, that's the worst category ever. No, I'm just kidding. Tell me, baby.
What is one thing If you could take from me, like you give to yourself in terms of some part of me, what would it be?
Damn, I was gonna say your fan base, but you're saying part of you.
Like,
I would love to have fans. That's great. People comment and subscribing. That's amazing.
He's stealing my fan base, you guys. He's stealing them.
Just let me curious. Besides your hair, man, I can't think of anything, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say I would take your hair specifically, but just to be able to have a chance to style my hair one more time and be like, you know what? I want to shave this off willingly, voluntarily. It's great. That's the physical part. Yeah.
Oh my god, he's stealing my hair and he's stealing my pants. Jesus.
I mean, it worked for Samson.
Oh my god, like I think I'm crying. Oh my god. That's
like, comment, subscribe.
That is funny.
Broham.
Yes, your brother.
Oh, got it. My actual broham.
Old term. I'm sorry. No, I'm old.
No, you mean my actual broham. I don't even mean like, the spirit of man.
I'm sorry, your brother. I should be that. I had mama and dad on there, but I thought you would catch broham with your brother.
Yeah, I got
you. So how many years apart are you guys?
6.5. So he's December and I'm June.
6.5. So there was no time you guys were ever in school together. Then clearly, you guys were never in school together.
Not the same classes, but when he left to middle school, we had similar teachers, right? So
how did his teachers treat you when you entered their class? They remember
him? So this is interesting. So because after elementary school, because we went to the same elementary school, I got tired of it, and I made a point to go to different middle schools and high schools to be my own person. When my brother was in elementary, he was like the quiet kid, had really thick glasses. He was a good kid, kind of thing. And I was a bit of a wild child in my elementary school years. Which is relatively speaking, I wasn't like boosting cars or anything, but I had a trouble with teachers, and I would talk and I would joke around and stuff in class or anything. So it was the early development of me was basically don't be you, be more like your brother, because everyone remember who he was. His 5th grade teacher, my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Smith, almost became like a family friend. And he goes, well, your brother never did this, your brother never did that, your brother never did the 3rd thing. And then I just got fed up. And I was like, I'm out of here. And I'm going to go to across town, not the neighborhood for middle school and high school. But people loved him, man. He was quiet. He was able to fend off bullies when he could, and he was good in class. So.
Wow, funny. Okay. Yeah.
Wheel.
My next song. It is Mama.
She has a birthday coming up. Ooh.
Yes. Happy early birthday, Stephanie, of course, coming up. Okay, so the question is, does she have a nickname for you?
For me?
Or a name she call you? Does she say son? My mother always says son all the time or whatever, but does she have a nickname for you? I think
as an adult, no. I mean, there's really not a need for that. At least I don't think. Am I forgetting something? I don't think.
Need. Parents are mothers are mothers. Yeah, they may like I say to my daughter, I call her daughterkins. My other daughter, I call baby girl. My mother calls me son or whatever.
No, well, when I was a kid, it was like there was sweetheart and there was booby. But like when I was an adult, it's not really like, hey Flobito, it'd be kind of weird. Like I should really drop it.
Really call you by your government name.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you don't need to use names at all. It's kind of like, hey, you.
No, you don't say like mama. I go, hello, Benita, and like I call her by her first name. Hello, Benita. So sometimes she'll say James Lott Jr. or son. Like you also say hello.
No, I call my mama. I go mi mother, or I go mama. Okay, so I'll go into this. I refer to my mother and father as mommy and daddy. Right? That's I'm a grown man. I can admit that. But the problem is if you're not in that family dynamic, either it sounds stupidly sexual to people, or it sounds like privileged. I'm calling my mommy, I'm calling my daddy. So what ended up happening was when I would come home, I still want to show them that respect. I don't want to be like, hello, mother. So I would say, mi mother, which is how he would say it in the islands, or my mama, or how my mom would call her mom. And then my dad would be like, daddy, for no reason, because my dad is super reserved. So he's kind of like, yes, like, daddy. But like, no, I don't really have a nickname for that as much growing up. I mean, my dad calls me by my government name, and my mom does too, when she is speaking about me. but never like, you know.
So, but because you have a whole other life as Flobo, you have this whole other life.
My mom accepts that. She goes like, "Oh, people call you Flobo," but it's never like she goes, "Hey, Flobo, how's it going?" That's. I mean, I would like to for a long time. I wanted that to be the case. I was like, I want my parents to call me that because it's a whole identity thing, and it means a lot to me. Because I use it to combat bullying on a mental level. But like, if my parents name me something, that's the way they name me. I'm not going to change it. So it's like, yeah, all right, fine. Yeah.
You should call him baby or something, Mom. She's like, give him a little nickname. Let's freak him out.
Don't listen to him. He don't know us like that.
I come from the islands too, and the thing is, we say, well, because Latino islands, we do say mommy and poppy, or we do say pops or whatever. We do say I have nicknames for everybody. Everybody has a nickname. My grandmother, we all abuelita, everything. So everybody had nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of funny that, and we say auntie, of course, for aunt.
I got auntie and I have aunts. So like for me, I have an auntie is my mom's sister. It's like my auntie, auntie. I'll say also, and then my dad's sisters. I don't know them as well. I'll say I got an aunt Mildred. I have an aunt Pam. I have an aunt Needs. Yeah.
So folks, for me, because I am James Lott Jr. in just regular life, when my parents say my full name, it doesn't mean anything anymore because it's like my whole family calls me James Lott Jr. They don't say James anymore. It's like my daughter says it's my dad, James Lott Jr. Like they don't when someone just says James, it's weird. It
is a brand, and I made the mistake early in our career to be like James Lott. Excuse me, that is not me. I am Junior. Okay, fine, JLJ. Damn.
I did. It felt, but now it does sound weird. You say just James Lott. Does that sound weird?
I mean, now it does, but I just say JLJ. When I'm talking about you, I go JLJ now. I don't get myself in trouble.
Everybody calls me J-Lot, except our friend Brandon calls me J-Lot all the time. Like J-Lot.
Yeah, I like it.
J-Lot. I just say I don't.
People are actually in the chat. This is crazy. I didn't think people would
I love it.
No one cares about me personally. It's just about what I'm eating or what I'm seeing.
They like us together because I'm your soulmate. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Number four. Number four.
I love number four.
I am number four. I just saw the movie the other day. Actually, I was watching it.
Anyway. Oh, awesome! It was good.
It was actually decent. We read the books. I read the books. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's number 4. They do the others. I was like, oh, interesting. This is that one.
Oh.
Okay. This one is Dad. Actually, I didn't even pick it.
My pops.
Pops. Okay.
His nickname.
That's a nickname? See, what is one thing you admire from him?
Damn. So my dad is the most complicated man on the planet because you'll learn things not because of him, because in spite of him. I ain't doing that bullshit. But what I admire most is that on paper he did the thing that people said couldn't be done. So he came to this country as an immigrant. But I always say it's to New York City in the 70s, which is a different town than New York City now.
Yeah.
Way different. And he worked in the subways, so he probably saw some stuff. So he came from this country as an immigrant. My mom was too, but then did the good job thing that I couldn't do. I worked for myself, did pretty well, and he was able to retire with a little bit less financial obligation than the average person. I'm not going to say he's well off because it's New York City and everything says no, you're not. But I do admire that in a lot of ways, that there is a path to victory in this game of life in that way, in that sense. Because even though we want to be happy, what makes me happy is not trying to check my account 3 times a day to make sure I can buy lunch or dinner. Am I right? So I do admire about that, but it's nothing about my dad. It's not, as an adult who is child free, I understand now more than ever. It is a difficult job to be a father, especially now where because we want to promote motherhood, in spite fathers, especially Black fathers, don't get the praise they get for being there. Not trying to start anything. I'm not trying to be a hater. It's just that to be a Black dad is kind of a thankless job on top of being a thankless job. And I get that part too, but he is a complicated person, man. There's a lot of things where you just go, brother, what? What are you doing? So, a lot of things I admire about him.
I would actually one day, if my kids were down for it, if I ever have a Eat True Hollywood story or whatever, I'm curious to see what they say about me, because I'm a Black dad. I'm a dad to 2 girls. I'm a granddad, obviously, to 4. I always give the girls, to have me as a father must have been very. I was always like this.
Having you as a friend is very interesting. far
Yeah,
less than you can discipline
exactly.
me. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. I can only imagine having me as a father, that was a trip. Having me as a son, that was a trip too. I mean, having me period, this girl's always like this, just out the womb, so I can only imagine.
I couldn't handle that. JLJ sent me to my room. Ain't that a bitch? Like, what? He sent me to
No,
my room.
my books always say I caused revolts in my house. And I told you one story about the dry milk, the powdered milk. She goes, "Yeah, you came home after you had the real milk. You're like, that's it, mother. We're not having no more dried milk anymore." I just like at 7 years old, and that's it. She's like,
Well,
and you were serious. And
I,
she started shaking her boots.
I
And I was like,
remember that. But real quick, I want to give a shout out to Craig Robbins, who watches a lot of my shows. He says, "Hey guys, I'm a JLJ first timer. Tis a pleasure. Follow him at JLJ Media, youtube.com/JLJ Media. Really fun stuff if you're into the nerd stuff, the soap opera stuff, the more of the cultural art and culture stuff. He does it all at JLJ Media."
"Hi, Craig Robinson. Nice to meet you. I'm a crazy person. Yeah,
I just sold your channel. I'm crazy.
but that's
I'll be
because
back. I'm crazy.
you should go. It's crazy. I'm crazy. No, but I was always like this. But you just saying about your father, and I just wonder what what would they say about me? You know, I'm such a different kind of person. But no, in all seriousness, I do think, yeah, being a black father, it is kind of like this weird dichotomy of we don't have black fathers. That whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then also you're there, so it's like, well, you're supposed to be there anyway. So I'm not going to thank you for being there because you're supposed to be there. I got that a
Right.
lot too, because I didn't run away or whatever. I'm still there.
Right.
But then also being a black father, trying to raise daughters, and it's a whole multi-level thing. Trust me. And I'm a Gen Xer, so I may look the same age as Flobo, but I'm much older than he is.
I'm not sure that's an insult or not, but I don't know how much. I don't know if we're gonna have more dad questions, but like my dad was there. I mean, he was there. He came home every night in theory. You know what I mean? I don't know what he does during the day. But there's some times we're kind of like, man, are we a good thing? Was we mistakes? You know what I mean? But I get it now when you are a kind of person who recharges by being alone. If you're an introvert that way, being around your kids and working all day could be a lot for a man. And this is why I think he vacationed alone. We never had a family vacation as a unit until I graduated grad school when he all came out. And I was like, okay. At the time, I was like, this is a weird brother. But now and having relationships and understanding what it is, you're like, oh, I get it. But he never explained himself. But I love him, bro. I love him, though, even though I said that.
I like that. No, I know, and fathers and sons are like mothers and daughters. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if you come from anybody from immigrant families, you already understand, folks. You already
Word.
understand. It's always
Just like a West Indian dad.
yeah, exactly. Okay. The car.
Ooh.
So I've been in your car, and it's usually very clean and everything together.
I try to make it clean, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I've been in some cars, so it's crazy. But bye, Kirsten. Have a good day today. Okay. The question is, what is your car to you in your life? Like for some people, it's an extension of their home. It's an extension of their job. Like, what does your car mean to you?
Oh man, it's funny because the way I got that car it was kind of like having a child. Like I wasn't planned, but it's a responsibility. So I have an SUV. It's a Ford Edge, 2016. I use it for my DJ job. It loads in all my stuff, and it's cool because I don't really think of any other car I want to switch to. I can't really downsize. I can't really get something bigger because I live in LA and I have equipment. I had a car before that. I had the previous year's used. I had a 2015 Edge, but it was a lemon. Like it was an absolute lemon. I was going to finance this used car. I could afford that easier, like super sweet car note, but it kept leaking oil from the engine block, and I basically staged a protest. I said, "Look, I put $3,000. My mom helped me out to put $3,000 in this car. You got to fix it. Sorry, sir, we can't do that. You could buy a new one." I'm not buying a new one. We won't go. So I got that one brand new off the lot. But even though I didn't have to put any deposit on, it's basically buying that car brand new. They gave me a discount, but not enough to offset the cost of a used car the year before. So like now the car note is like astronomically high. This is kind of like, whatever compared to the other one. And that's fine. Not telling my business, but it's become like a struggle to provide for it. But in some ways it's kind of, I'm proud to say that I was able to make payments every single month by hook or by crook. And when I tell people that story, they go, "Oh, it's like having a kid." Like, well, kind of. Like you got to put gas in it. I know gas is expensive. Either you can put the car down and not drive it, or you got to pay for it, or pay the car note to make sure they don't tow it away, or all that stuff. And so, still working the insurance. Insurance is kind of a crapshoot. But I feel like the fact that I'm able to do that month in and month out is a sense of pride of me. And that's my first car I used for my first business when I went to my own business. So it has that kind of reputation for me. I call it Drake because it's like a charcoal gray. It's not quite black. It was made in Canada. I call it Drake. I love it. I drive it around town. I try to keep it clean as I can. So I know I'm going to have it forever.
You said not quite black. Oh my
God.
God.
Dark gray. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm able to touch that one. Okay.
Hey.
The last couple of questions.
Ooh.
Last couple
of questions.
All right. Okay. Hosting. Oh. That's ironic it fell. That's one last couple of questions fell on hosting. For you, what makes a good co-host?
Ooh. If it's just one person, it's someone that's able to be a character that I can bounce back off of. Because what ends up happening if there's one co-host and it's my show, I'm leading. And so I don't want to be just a news person to be like, so this is the first thing that happened today. What do you think? Oh, that's great. Okay. So like when you give me something to work with, this is why I love working with Jack Farmer so much on Draped in Gold. Because it's a wrestling show and we do it in kayfabe, which means we pretend as if it's a real sports show and not that it has writers. So we'll go, I can't believe Toni Storm came out and she lost a match. Jack Farmer, what do you think about that? Well, she is a very tough competitor. And the fact he does that and he bounces off it and he like supports the bad guys and I get frustrated that he loves the bad guys makes the show something more than just a recap show. If it's multiple panelists, know when to shut the hell up, right? If you see three people around you, don't go into a whole diatribe about when you were born and what kind of farm you grew up on. Like, say what you got to say, get out so I can dance and move to the next person.
I agree with that. Jack Farmer, we both co-hosted with him. I did a series with him for a while last year, and he's a good co-host. He's a good co-host. He knows how to turn it on. It's so funny. He knows how to like just, and he's also very just like, okay, I'm wrong. That's fine. He don't care. Like he don't get like people get angry and like they want to be right. And he's like, that's fine. He's like me, but it's like, okay, I don't know everything. So that's fine.
You got me. Exactly.
Chemistry can't be forced. It really can't. The camera picks up on everything, and you can't be forced. And there are folks who I saw who looked really good together. They looked good together, but there was zero chemistry. Like there's just nothing there. And you would think this should work. And nope. And sometimes I have people who are too much alike that it didn't work also.
Yeah.
They were competing over each other, it seemed like.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like, I want to show that I'm smart here. But I think the cool thing is knowing when to be smart and knowing when to be dumb. Like on the Star Trek show, not to put every show in the thing, the whole premise of Commander's Log is that I am a new fan. I am not smart. So I get to do more of the comedy stuff, but I also open the avenue for my co-host John to be like, well, actually in Star Trek, they did this. And I think when people get their whole thing and try to be the smartest person in the room and be the funniest and be the most charming, it becomes a whole thing.
But you don't me promote anything you want. This is I'm Mr. Promotion Central, so you have to apologize to me. That's one person that apologize to me. Everybody, I am the promoter. Trust me, I don't.
Do Song Money Shuffle out tomorrow. Wherever you download.
Right. I heard it. I love it. So we're promoting it. This will be the last question.
Last question.
Okay, where's it gonna land?
I wonder what's everyone's favorite category. What's everyone's favorite category? Let me know in the chat. Is it esports again?
No, I did not. And I swear to everything that's holy and unholy, I did not choose this. James Lott Jr.
You son of. Okay, gotcha. So I already have your hair and fans.
I was going to maybe lie and say land on something else. I was like, no, I can't lie. I got to do the truth.
I have your hair and fan base. We're good. We're fine.
No, no, the last question is, oops, shit, what did I do there? Last question is James Lott Jr. If you could describe me, and it was hard, in 4 words, what would they be?
Describe JLJ Media. That's 4 words. No, I'm kidding. Describe James Lott Jr. in 4 words.
If it can be done.
Oh, actually, I could do it in 3.
Oh.
My crazy uncle.
There you go. I like that. Actually, that's a good answer. I like that answer. He discovered that I'm Red Fox. That's even. I love that joke.
Like, wait a minute.
It's totally me. It's totally me.
Yeah.
That's why I go. That folks, Red Fox has a show. You have to see it online. I posted it on something. I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh my god!" And he goes, "In this moment, I realized James Lott Jr. is my Red Fox." That's me. That's me, kids. Gotta laugh.
I love baseball. I like baseball for the culture. I do it because I'm a black guy in America. But yes, baseball.
Yeah, he's Mr. Baseball because of black folks. So blackity black people. So that's what he does. I wish I could be in baseball. I just can't do it. I'm a football person. I'm not commenting on the whole Tom Brady thing. People asking me. I'm not commenting.
What do you feel about the new quarterback for the Steelers?
That's a different story. But we're running out of time. So
what? We're out of time.
Yeah. So thank you, folks. So thank you, Flo, for letting me come in and disrupt Wassup, Flobo for number 210.
I do it for the mama, man. She loves you. I don't know why, because I do this every week, mom. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, mama. Put yourself over. If you ever hit a stop button, I almost cut you off.
No, you don't cut me off.
Put yourself over. Yeah, so go ahead.
So, everybody, I have a new book out called These 2 Words with my friend Charles Wong. It is out now, so go there. There's 2 words on every page, and they mean something. So I'm curious for people to get the book and tell us what some of the words, how they hit them. I'm very curious. It was a very thought out process. That's out now on Amazon, paperback, Kindle. Have fun. Do it. Okay. Secondly, I have music coming out all the time. I have an album out called Surprise. Yes. It's 9 songs that I did on my SoundCloud page. And it's for free. You can download it for free. Go to SoundCloud, James Lott Jr. And the songs, I'm really proud of them, actually. I wrote them all in 2 days. Some great musicians on it. It's a really fun thing. I'm working on other songs to come out. Me and Flobo have an album coming out, working on that, trying to finish touching on that. A bunch of things coming, but check that out. Surprise. SoundCloud. But I'm on Spotify, Apple, Google. All my music's on there. Check it out. And there's anything there. Okay. Audio dramas. Go to any place you listen to podcasts and everything. 2 words on each song, too.
That's like what song? 2 words, Buck. Hey, okay. Back in his early days.
Yes, exactly. But my audio dramas, I have about 15 of them. Trust me, Flobo's on some of them, so check them out. But you guys are checking them out, and so thank you so much for that. Wherever you get podcasts, you can find them out there. Anything from Mistletoe Road to Peppermint Winters to Easter Hare, Cupid's Crossing. The Really Short Story podcast, a lot of our short stories are on there, very popular. Check those out. The audio world is growing. It is great. D'Lo Brown.
I'm listening, baby. That's good.
I'm laughing. It is growing. It's something that people are actually tuning to. And you don't have to sit in front of a TV or a computer to watch it. You can listen to it as you're doing anything else. Also, I've been having the best, and thank you for anybody who watches, the best weeks of my life on my network, JLJ Media on YouTube. Again, I've worked 35 shows from Star Wars to soap operas to now Mother Earth, insurance, everything. Check that out. Go there, subscribe. It's JLJ Media. Like, everything's so simple. JLJ Media. It's all I got to type in. And check that out and see what's going on over there. I have a lot of shows. Also, a certified life coach, a lot of help.com. I am a professional organizer, superorganizer.com. And I think that's everything for now.
What don't you do, brother? What don't you do?
Of course, you can follow me where all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. on social media platforms.
Well, about time to get out of here. Next week, episode 211. Gotta run. I gotta think about what that episode's gonna be. But of course, as always, be nice to you and call your mother.